Hey, I'm Dan Fitzpatrick at stockmarketmentor.com and Fitzpatrick Trading Group. And I want to look at Navitas Semiconductor today. This is the way the chart looked last week. I want to show you a trade that we made, and hopefully you'll be able to see this type of thing and find your own trades in the future. Or you could be on Stock Market Mentor and I'll find them for you. But the idea here was you could see the stock trading right around the 200-day moving average. That's the red line here, and the 50-day moving average. And they were both really close together, trading flat. The only way the 50 and the 200 are close together and flat is when the stock has been trading for a long period of time at the same level. It allows the average price over the last 50 days to be very close to the average price over the last 200 days. They have to be flat. You could see where it's not the same as, oh, the 50 and the 200 day are very close together. Okay, well, yeah, because they've been crossing and the stock's already made one hell of a move. You could say the same thing. You could say the same thing back here. They're zipping up and down and all around. But this is what I'm talking about on this one, where you've got the 200, the 50 and the 200. They've been flat for a while here. And so this is what I call a moneymaker pattern where you've got, it would be nice if the bands were a little bit tighter, but you know what? Sometimes you don't get your wish on everything. But you see the 50 and the 200 very close together. The price is approximate to them as well. So it's very close there. And it's above, not below. It's above these key moving averages. So then we see this. And this was when I first looked at the stock, and it was interesting enough to me to set an alert because there's no nothing special about today that you didn't see yesterday or the day before that or the day before that. I mean, we can kind of pick hairs or split hairs or whatever the hell you do with the hairs. But there's really nothing new about this. However, you look at $10 and say, you know what? I want to set an alert here. And if this stock pops above $10, I want to be there. And so it actually did on this day. Great. I'm looking at the stock. Boom. Right there is where you really, really get your signal that you want to be involved. Why? Because that happens. And so on this day, right at 1095, we got into it a little bit late, but you know what? You can't have everything. So we jump in at 1095 on this day, on the 16th, and this stock absolutely rewards us in a big hurry. And we close this out today. I know some of you guys are still holding some of the shares, and that's fine. But in a very short period of time, in just a few days, we got a 41% return. And it was actually a pretty easy trade. A lot of times with our members, you'll see guys in the trading room and maybe they haven't been trading that long or something, and so they sold something right away even though really there's no particular reason to sell other than they were just kind of afraid that they give their profits back or to make up for other losses or something, but they had a psychological reason for selling rather than an objective reason based on the prices that they were seeing. But I was happy to see that we didn't seem to have any of those people today, that a lot of people were still holding the stock all the way through. So when I was looking at this stock today, this is just a multi-time frame analysis. Forget about the 1 minute. We'll go to 5, 15, and 30. We'll go to an hour, I guess. And we'll just do this for regular hours. So what I saw this morning was the stock gaps up and it stays above this orange line, which is the volume weighted average price, and then gradually comes down and hits this line. And that is when I was looking at this and I'm saying, you know what, enough's enough. Let's go ahead and just say, thank you, sir. May I have another? And so I looked at the VWAP line as the line of demarcation, like, okay, I want to get out of the stock here. And so that's what we did. And so that's the full trade for you. And I hope you'll join us at Stock Market Mentor, $7 for 14 days. By the way, if you have taken the 59-minute trader course, you are eligible if you choose to join me next Thursday and Friday, not in a couple days, but next week's Thursday and Friday to trade some key earnings. And this is only if you've bought the 59-minute trader, because that's the way we trade. We don't really want anybody in there who doesn't really understand how to do that. And if you are interested, go ahead and buy the course and look at it over the weekend. Okay, you could do that too. All right, that's all I got for you. Hope you all are having an awesome time, and I will see you next time.